What's good, y'all? Welcome back to On Go. We are going to be covering the Karmelo Anthony trial. I couldn't make it there for the first week. I'll try to make it there for the second week, but we will be shadowing Queen Shiba Darling, as well as a couple of other content creators that I work personally with on trials. So Queen Shiba saying that she doesn't feel like the court will be prepared. But as far as my notes go, they say that jury selection has started, but no jury has been chosen yet. And the court has spent the most of Monday working through a huge pool of potential jurors, roughly around 600 people. Judge John Roach first removed people who were legally ineligible to serve, and then the remaining jurors completed questionnaires. Now, the process has moved slower than some has expected. A large part of the day was administrative. The judge spent hours explaining procedures, screening jurors, and having questionnaires completed. So if people are expecting fireworks on day one, that just didn't happen. Now, the court is trying to narrow down this pool dramatically. Attorneys will review these questionnaires and try to cut down the pool from around 600 to approximately around 250 potential jurors before the next phase of the selection. Now, we already know that most people are asking, when does the trial begin? But they're saying that it should be on schedule and it's expected to kick off Thursday, June 4th, assuming that the jury selection stays on schedule. So I do want to go to Queen Shiba Darling. Make sure you're subscribing to her page because she's boots on the ground right now. And we're going to be shadowing her and just seeing everything from her lens and seeing exactly how she feels about outside the courtroom to inside the courtroom. So salute to everybody. Make sure you're dropping likes. Make sure you're subscribing to the channel and turn the notification bells on to make sure that everybody's on go. Let's get.
Welcome. We are live from the Karmelo Anthony trial here in Collin County, McKinney, Texas. As you can see, the courthouse is right behind me. Hold on, let me make sure I give you all a good shot. Right back there, that is the front door, the front steps of the courthouse, and we are here. And baby, let me tell you something. Beautiful courthouse, wonderful aesthetics. It is hot out here. So I got to do what I got to do with the glasses and everything. But let me say this. We are already almost 2 hours delayed, and the court was not prepared, I do believe, for this level of logistics behind the scenes. We were supposed to start at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time with the selection of the jurors, but right now there is a huge delay with no updates from the court. The bailiffs, the sheriffs, law enforcement, no one seems to know what's going on. When I tell you it is complete chaos there in that courthouse, it's chaotic. But the good thing about it is everybody seems to have a relaxed attitude about it. And I'm going to keep you updated in real time. So what I would like to do is welcome you all to the page. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Queen Shiba. We're here in McKinney, Texas. And honey, we are going to be covering this thing from start to finish. I do not believe, based on everything that's happening today, that they will be able to start the first day of the trial, just based on my experience, right? Hold on. Let's get up. Let's make sure we're set up for success.
Let my sister get it together. You cannot rush greatness, all right? So what we do know is that the court is currently expected for trial to run around June 12th and possibly including Saturday sessions as well. Now, the self-defense claim, the defense has made it clear that self-defense will be central to the case. So that means that prosecutors won't just try to prove the stabbing happened. They will have to convince the jurors behind a reasonable doubt, okay, beyond a reasonable doubt, that Anthony was not legally acting in self-defense. This is some of the court restrictions, just to let y'all know before we get into Queen Shiba Darling a little bit more, all right? There will be no live streams from inside the courtroom, no courtroom cameras, and no recording devices are allowed, even though this is a state case, and usually in state cases, you can't. I was live at the Diddy trial. It was a federal case, you couldn't record. And a gag order also remains in effect. So let's get back to Queen Shiba Darling. Hopefully everything is back on schedule. Let's see what we're looking like, y'all.
Paid it on Thursday. I'm going to guess. Yeah, I'm going to take a wild guess because we're already delayed, right? And I think they're having to learn in real time. So I'm going to say they're probably going to start Friday or Monday. Now, let me tell you a little bit about what's going on. It's windy out here. I'm going to do my best to give you up-to-date coverage and just make sure I give you the facts of everything that's happening in real time. Now, it's a lot going on with this trial. They have heightened the presence of law enforcement. I'm talking about heavy duty. We're talking rifles, everything, right? Because I don't know what you guys are expecting in Collin County. I'm reading Facebook posts. I saw one lady said, well, hopefully they don't burn down the town if the verdict isn't what people want, or if the verdict isn't what the consensus of the people think it should be. I think we're going to be okay, folks. I just need everybody to sit back, relax, and chill out. They're saying that the jurors or some of the jurors have safety concerns. They're wanting to know that they're going to be okay, if their families are going to be okay. People are not wanting to serve on this trial because they're scared. Unfortunately, this is a very, very unfortunate case. But if everybody takes a deep breath and allow the court system and law enforcement to do their job, I think you're going to be okay. Now, it's hot as hell out here. So I'm going to breeze through this really, really quickly. Today is day one of the Karmelo Anthony trial, and we were supposed to do jury selections. We were told by a bailiff that he doesn't believe that anything is going to happen today. But let me just kind of tell you what I've witnessed from 5 a.m., actually 5:50 a.m. to up until now. So initially, when I entered the courthouse, there was no problem. I was able to get in and out, right? No problem. It seemed streamlined. It seemed like they had it all together. They were directing the potential jurors to go one way, and then those of us that were coming in with the public would go a different way. Now, typically, I sit in with the media, but I guess because of the status of this trial and because of the classification of the trial, Collin County, or the judge, made a decision that only 9 media individuals or media outlets would receive media credentials. And those were specified or allocated to legacy media outlets that were local to Collin County. And the reason of them saying they wanted to do so is because they wanted to ensure that Karmelo Anthony receives a fair trial. I follow that. I get it. However, I mean, can we talk real? The beauty of having independent journalists in the courthouse as media, pardon me, that's a cop behind us. Let's see, he's making sure they're doing rounds out here. When I tell you they are not playing out here. So the beauty of having independent journalists is because I can tell you what's really happening, right? I'm not censored. And we're thankful for the big media outlets. I am. But honey, I can get down on it and I can tell you exactly what's happening.
Only 9 are sanctioned to go inside the courtroom, and legacy media, I think 1 or 2 of them are actually like newspapers and publications. But as far as the news goes, because I was covering the Diddy trial, and the news be kind of stiff. The news people be kind of stiff. They can say this, they can't really say too much. So us as independent journalists being there, me, Neek at Night, Queen Shiba Darling, as well as many others that was there covering the trial, we were able to give you the trial, whatever was happening on the ground, outside, inside, from our own lens, and actually kick it with you very real. So I do feel what Queen Shiba's saying here. So let's just see exactly what she's talking about real quick, man. Salute to everybody, man. But I do agree with her totally with that.
The way it's happening in full time. So when you dedicate 9 allocated seats to legacy media in the interest of a fair trial, and the 9 seats and the 9 media outlets are all white, I kind of feel like it's contradictory to what you say you want to happen here. It's the optics of it. It's the principality of it, no matter what side of the fence you sit on. Because if you don't want an appeal, if you don't want a hung jury, you have to make sure it is equal across the field, the playing field, if we are talking a fair trial. You get what I'm saying? Because when we think about the world we live in today in 2026, everybody doesn't know to tune into the news stations here. There are people watching from all over the world. So that's one challenge I believe they're going to have. Or unless they're trying to contain the trial and they don't want you guys to hear about it, but we are here. So I was not selected to be a part of the media, but congratulations to those of you that were. So I had to come and get in line, and it was an easy process to get in the line. However, when I got in there, it was pretty chaotic. Okay, Collin County, you're going to have to do better. Beautiful courthouse, listen to me, your tax dollars are not being wasted, but you got to get the logistics together. We were told that it's first come, first serve. But when it was time to enter into the courtroom, it was mayhem. When I tell you people were just kind of jumping up and not really adhering to what was happening or what should have happened in real time, I want the deputies to step up, right? What good is having the presence of law enforcement if you don't have the logistics in order? So this is the part that I feel like you need a woman. Get you a woman on law enforcement that can help work those courtrooms and say, hey, wait a minute. We can't do this like this. We got to get people in line. The guys are.
They most definitely got to get that in order. You know, one thing with the Diddy trial, they had other courtrooms where the public could go into as well, but it was kind of in order. Even though it was a chaotic scene at the Diddy trial, it was very much in order where a lot of people could not get up into Diddy's courtroom. Ooh, they're going to have to get that in order. I think that is just nerves. I think a lot of people have been anticipating this trial. Many people have been waiting for this trial day to happen, and people want to be there. People want to be in the front. You know what I mean? You know, a lot of people want to sit in the front. You know, I don't know how they're going to have it, if they're going to have it on screens, where the screens are going to be located. Can you see the screens from the back row to the front row? I don't know how it's going to be situated, but I look forward to bringing Queen Shiba Darling on the channel and her giving me a detailed breakdown of what she's feeling about the whole court layout, about how she feels about people jumping in lines and people being antsy to get up in that courtroom. I do want to hear how she feels about that, but I do want to hear about the demographics. What is the demographics looking like? So let's get into some of the demographics.
Talk a little bit about the demographics of the public, people that showed up today to witness jury selections. About 58%, give or take, is African American. And this is just a guess, right? I'm just estimating. 58% are Black, right? People that showed up to get in the public line, maybe 62%. Give or take. There was a small group of people that did show up in the color purple. And from what I'm being told, the color purple is Karmelo Anthony's. Those are Karmelo Anthony's supporters, and that's his favorite color. So you did have a group of people that are sporting the color purple. Now, if we talk about the demographics of the jurors, the people who were in line by the way, it's hundreds of people in there that's in line to become a potential juror or to be kind of excused from having to serve on the jury. We're looking at about 77 to 80% white, okay? I'm giving you the facts. You can take what you need and discard the rest, okay? These are things that your conservative media can't say because it just doesn't come across right, even though it's a fact. So take what you need from it and discard the rest. So that's what's happening as it relates to what the public appearances.
Damn, she's saying like 70+% is white, which I expected. You know what I mean? Especially in a town like McKinney, Texas, I expected it to be a lot of white people there. But still in all, you know, that doesn't mean that, you know, he can't get a fair trial. You know what I mean? Fingers crossed on that. But I do like that she did explain the purple color. You know what I mean? Maybe I could get some purple, start getting my purple t-shirts or something like that to show some solidarity and show some love to Karmelo Anthony and his family and show that I am a supporter of him. And we're over here wishing and praying that this trial goes in his favor and in his family's favor. So we will be staying tuned to that.
Showed up, I'm going to say white Americans. Now, the demographics of Collin County, you're looking at 62% white. That's why it's important for those of you, because a lot of you have made this a very racial trial. If you're into the race thing, then you need to answer your jury summons. When you decline to participate in jury summons, then you find yourself at home screaming at the television, he, she, they didn't get a fair trial. Well, it's because of you at home that people are not getting fair trials or what you deem as fair trials if you neglect to show up. That's a part of your duty. That's a part of your duty as a civilian, okay? So what else do we have today? Remember, there's not a lot going on. So I want to talk about what I think is going to happen in this case. This is going to be a jury trial, period, point blank. This trial, even though it's a murder trial, this is going to be a jury trial. And I have a couple of questions for you that I would like for you to consider. Number one, will this be a fair trial? in your opinion? Yes or no? Number two, what do you deem fair? For those of you that are tuning in, keeping up with the case, wanting to be updated, what do you deem as fair when it comes to trials, in particular, Karmelo Anthony trial? And number three, do you think the court, and when I say the court, I'm talking about the defense team, I'm talking about the prosecution, do you think they're going to be able to select unbiased jurors?
I think those were very, very relevant questions. You know, do you think that he's going to get a fair trial? Is a good one. What do you consider fair? And do you think that they will be able to select non-biased jurors? Everybody knows about this trial. Everybody knows about this case. I was at Diddy's trial during the jury selection. So I was at Diddy's trial for 40 days. So the whole entire trial, I was there every single day. And I'm glad I got there at jury selection and seen exactly how the jury selection process goes. And a lot of people were there saying, I ain't hear about this. What you talking about? I never heard about this, Johanna. Who did he? Who Cassie? One woman said, who's Cassie? I said, who's Cassie? Are you serious? That's how much, because this is a big trial. People want the notoriety of being a part of a big trial. But one thing we have to take from Queen Shiba Darling when she said, a lot of us are not answering the call when we are called to jury selection. It's like, who wants to do jury selection? Nobody. That's why I knew that in Diddy's case, a lot of people were cloud chasers and they just wanted to be a part of the trial because it was Diddy, because it was a big, case. And they really, really wanted to be a juror in that case. We understand that the demographics in Diddy case was more white than black. And even during the trial, I think 1 or 2 black people got expelled or, got terminated from being jurors for multitudes of reasons. But in Diddy's case, I think the trial worked out in his favor, regardless if he was convicted of the 2 counts that he was, he didn't get the RICO and he didn't get the trafficking. So we just can't base it just on color. Many people are going to have their own biases. Many people know whether they think someone's guilty or not guilty from the very beginning of a trial. So can McKinney, Texas and Collin County, can they actually get unbiased jurors? I think that is going to be a big deal. It's going to be a major, major deal, is can they get unbiased jurors? So hopefully they're doing a lot of screening. It seems like the Judge Roach, it seems like the court are taking a lot of procedural, cautions, and they're doing what they got to do as far as security goes and as far as, screening. So hopefully they're doing everything that they can do to make sure that Karmelo Anthony actually does get a fair shake in the courtroom.
Meaning everyone, do you think in this county they're going to be able to find people whose thoughts about what they feel, whether it's racially, whether it's lawfully, whether it's spiritually, whether it's criminally, do you think they're going to be able to select and pluck out some people that are going to be unbiased, that's willing to sit there and hear both sides from the prosecution and the defense and take into consideration the evidence and not the story, right? Because when you think about trials, we got to go with the evidence. What does the evidence state? What can be proved? What can be supported in the courtroom? That's a yes or a no. What are the odds? Hold on. What are the odds? Self-defense versus cold-blooded murder. That's what the jury has to decide, okay? Karmelo is going to be tried as an adult, whether you like it or not. He's on trial as an adult. And that's been established in this case. So here's the thing about being tried as an adult. The defense won't be able to lean on his cognitive reasoning or lack thereof as a child because they're trying him as an adult. Man, this is going to be tough, right? When you think about everything that's being said, like I said, it's a very sad situation on both ends. So far, not a lot of activity happening right now. No formal, no official updates.
Yeah, man, it's true. Him being tried as an adult, you can't lean on you being a child. You cannot lean on that. So whoever is the potential jury and the jurors that are picked, they got a big task on their hands with this case right here. Like I said, again, I can only hope that the judge is actually doing the screening process that they need to do to make sure that Karmelo Anthony does get a fair shake, does get a fair trial, and that the potential jurors or jury is actually unbiased as can be. But everybody has their own biases. We go on social media, we see a video, we have our thought about it. This is a big trial. There's been so many talks about this case on the news, big news programs. And sometimes, just listening to social media, listening to big news programs, they could kind of skew the way your mind thinks about anything, not just a big case like this. They could kind of channel your brain to a certain avenue. So make sure everybody's doing their due diligence. Make sure you're following not only the legacy media and the big news stations, but make sure you're tapping in to people that's boots on the ground, content creators, independent journalists, such as Queen Shiba Darling. We also got Neek at Night there as well. I'm going to try to get down there for next week if I can, second day of trial if I can, because I do think that this trial is going to carry on for the full 4 weeks. That's what I just think, maybe even more, who knows? And like I said, they are thinking about also including Saturday sessions. That's big for them to include Saturday sessions. That mean that they're trying to stay on schedule. So it may go to 4 weeks, it may not, but it all depends when this actual trial starts, okay? And like I said, there's 600 jurors roughly right now. They're trying to whittle that down to about 250 potential jurors. And then they're gonna start to go through a lot of these questionnaires and start this screening process to make sure that they're getting unbiased jurors. So tell me what y'all think about this. Like I said, do you think he's going to get a fair trial? Again, what is fair to you? Do you think that the judge in the court can actually put together a jury that is unbiased enough to give Karmelo Anthony a fair trial? As far as I go, I'm in full support of Karmelo Anthony. It's still a sad case on both sides. You know what I mean? Condolences and RIP to the people that lost a family member as well. You know what I mean? But I am on Karmelo Anthony in this case. I'm on his side. So I will be trying to get some purple on to show my solidarity and show my support for him and the family while I'm covering these trials. Again, I will be shadowing Queen Shiba Darling as well as Neek at Night. We were at the Diddy trial together, as well as any other persons or people that, I have some sort of a bond and connection with from being at the trial. So listen, make sure y'all staying on go. Make sure you're supporting the channel. Turn the notification bells on to all. Okay, I need everybody turning the notification bells on to all. I haven't been live like that ever since the Diddy trial. I just do a little videos here and there when people send me videos that they want me to do. I've been taking care of family and things that matter. I even took a trip to Japan, just trying to travel the world and see a little bit more. But now we're back on go and we're back focused. This is a big trial and this trial needs our attention on it. All right. We understand that only non-legacy media is getting inside that courtroom. They were chosen. Salute to whoever has been chosen to be in there. I think one is a publication, a magazine, I think like a newspaper from the local district, the local county. So make sure that we're doing our due diligence and not just listening to what the big news stations are saying. Do your due diligence. Read what you can read up on this case. Follow other independent journalists' minds on this as well, so that you can put your own view on what you think is going on and what you think is happening at this trial. All right. Salute to everybody. Make sure y'all staying on go. Make sure y'all slap that button, like button that is, and subscribe to the channel. And I'll make sure that I will be here and I will be keeping y'all all on go and making sure that y'all get an unbiased take from me, even though I told you, whose side I think I'm on in this case. But still in all, when I cover trials, I like to talk about what the prosecution is doing right, what the defense is doing right. And I just like to be a fair shake when I'm covering journalistically from when I'm covering the trial. So that's how I'm on it when it comes to cases, all right? So get in the comment section. Let me know what y'all thinking about this whole case, all right? Oota, 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 always on go.
All my niggas from the Oota, all my niggas turn shooters. All my ops turn rats, all my niggas turn shooters. On the internet.